on, people? Welcome back to the Player Rating Show. This time we're going to be discussing the 1-0 defeat against Bournemouth. And trust me, there's a few performances to talk about, as usual, in detail. But I'm joined by Patrick here. If you do enjoy the show, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, as well as your player ratings. Patrick, you done a match reaction show yesterday. You spoke about some of these players in detail. There's a few, aren't there? There's a few that you want to maybe talk about a bit further, no?
I didn't actually talk about in detail. I chose not to talk much yesterday, so no. But yeah,
fair enough.
There's nothing to talk about yesterday.
You done like an hour and a half show or longer than an hour, so I thought you might have at least spoke about some of these players.
It was only an hour show. It was only an hour show.
All right, cool. You know what? Let's start off with the goalie, because the last time I started off with the goalie, he kind of kicked off, even in our show. 4.5 from me last week. But look, Patrick, I agree with you with Dean Henderson's performance after the Forest game. I thought it was relatively solid. 7.5 from you. The reason why I didn't give higher than a 7, distribution. Simple as that. What was it? Like 49% passing accuracy. It wasn't
47. Yeah, but you have to take into account. Remember, it was wet and windy last night in Bournemouth. Come on, I mean, but okay, I'm not gonna go there. Listen, you don't like Henderson, you get it. Okay.
Just wonder what you say, because it was wet and windy. But like, it was raining. That's why we couldn't win.
First half was terrible. It was.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, let's apart from his distribution, he made a few good saves. Just overall, what do you make of his performance?
I thought it was solid yesterday. I mean, I don't know what we expect out of him. He made the saves he had to make. He made a great save on Phil Billing. That save from the header on Billing, 36 minutes, was a brilliant save. Yeah. Brilliant save. I mean, what? And he's not gonna keep clean sheet every match. And that goal, he couldn't do nothing about the goal. We get to the goal later on, but that was a great shot by Clivert. So I thought it was very solid. Listen, I'm not. Listen, we have bigger problems than Dean Henderson right now. Much bigger problem. So yeah, let's move on.
We have bigger problems. We can agree on that.
Can we agree on that? Okay.
And just to give you credit, whilst you was talking, I looked at Neto's rating, the Bournemouth goalkeepers, not rating, his accurate passes. We're not doing a Bournemouth player ratings, and it was 52%. So he struggled as well. So you do have a fair point there. It was raining, and that's why we lost the game. Let's move on to Munoz next. 7 from you, 6 from me. I'll be honest, Patrick. There isn't really much to talk about with Munoz. It was a quiet game from him. He had 59 touches, but didn't do much with it. Simple as. I think Bournemouth done well tracking him whenever he was running, so there wasn't really an opportunity for him. But yeah,
I agree. He didn't get forward as much as I would have liked, but that's not on him. That's on we'll get to the later. That's on the players we had available. So it was
fair enough.
Okay, but it wasn't spectacular.
Okay, let's move on to Joe Wood. Once again, we kind of same ratings: 6, 7 from you and 6 from me. Nothing great in particular. 73% passing accuracy. I mean, 3 out of 3 ground duels won, 1 out of 3 aerial duels won. Only lost possession 14 times, which is like normal. 7 clearances. Not a bad game, to be fair. Maybe I could have gave him a 7, but there wasn't anything in particular that really caught my eye about his performance as well. It was a pretty, straightforward Joe Wood game.
Yeah, he's not a centre half, and to play in the back three with an unfamiliar player in Lerma yesterday is a credit to him, because again, it just wasn't. It was tough. We gave up one really unfortunate goal, but I think in general defense yesterday was decent against what I would say is a pretty decent Bournemouth side. So yeah.
Look, then again, when everyone is fit, I don't expect Wardy to start. Let's just say that. And despite that, he's not been playing bad. He's not playing bad. He's playing really okay.
But by the way, Richard's out for 2 or 3 more weeks, so he'll be playing a lot more. He'll play.
Maybe not only him. You never know. Maybe Ozil might be playing in defense, or Lerma might continue. So yeah, we're gonna see. It's not looking easy. It's not looking good as well.
Not looking good.
Andersen. I think Andersen, we can land on this one. 6.5 from you, 6 from me. There's a bit to talk about with Andersen. In terms of performance, I don't think there was anything bad in particular, but the reason why I think you gave him a 0.5 lower is because of his attitude, maybe towards the ref, or how sometimes he lets emotion get the best out of him. Because I noticed I'm assuming that. The reason why I gave him a 6, which I gave all the other players, I could have given him maybe 0.5 lower, is just calm it down a bit. You're meant to be one of the most experienced players there. He kind of let his emotions get ahead of him a bit early. Then again, he didn't do anything rash, which was good. He was on a yellow card. Then again, it's a bit frustrating because you're letting the opposition know that you're agitated and they're going to keep annoying you. So, yeah, that's the one thing with Andersen that I picked up in this game.
Yeah, he did get agitated. The yellow card was a bit silly, but I'll be honest with you, the Graham Scott was rubbish. Referee was rubbish. He was really bad, and I think Andersen getting his face, the amount of time they did was a little bit crazy. Could have got a second yellow card, but I thought the referee was really poor. I don't think it was a yellow card that he got, but he did a good job staying on the pitch because there was another incident later on he could have got sent off for. So, and he kept Solanke quiet. Let's be honest, he was marking Solanke. It wasn't Wharton, it wasn't Lerma. He kept Solanke did nothing. Solanke's a very good striker, so I think he deserved the rating that he got. He wasn't great yesterday, but I thought he was solid yesterday. Andersen, I really did. So
I think our best defender was this player, Lerma, who is not even a defender. 7.5. We both agree on that. I thought he was brilliant. He hasn't played in defence for Palace yet, even though in the past he has played in defence for Bournemouth. Funny enough, there was talks about whether it's going to be 4, 5, 3, whatever at the back, and Glasner went with the same system, and I think it worked out. In terms of his actual stats. 4 out of 7 ground duels won, 2 out of 4 aerial duels won, 82% passing accuracy, so very solid there. He had that one tackle, which if he didn't make, I think could have easily led to a 1-on-1 in the first half, which could have actually, funny enough, come from his mistake. But overall, tackles 3, last man tackle 1, 4 clearances, 1 block shot. Very solid at the back, Patrick. But during the game, his position changed, and I feel like his impact lowered when his position changed and went back into midfield. I thought we should have kept him in defence.
We can discuss that when we get to the manager rating. But I thought he did play very, very well. I mean, it's unfamiliar position for him. He has played it. He did play it last year for Bournemouth, but I'm not sure it was in the 3. He actually probably was in the 3 last year. Yeah, it would have been in the 3 last year. No, he played really well back there. It was surprising to see him back there. Him to slot in on the left side. His left foot's not that great, but he did a good job out there. And he did it. You're right. That saving tackle on Billing was a big play. He played really well back there. And the thing is, he'll be there the rest of the season most likely because no Gahey, no Holding, no Richards. We've got no options anymore to put him back there. And that's going to make our midfield weaker, which is probably why he went back to midfield second half or whatever. We'll get to that later on. But yeah, I thought he played really, really well. He probably was the best of the 3 defenders. He's not even a defender. So no, kudos to Lerma yesterday. He played really well.
And I think this is a good time to literally stop, not for an ad break, but just for a realization that we only have one fit actual centre half playing. Even it was Andersen that played in the Bournemouth game. And sometimes we kind of forget about it. Look, Joe Ward is playing centre half. I'm not saying he was absolutely terrible, but he's not centre half. Maybe he might be in the future if he continues playing. Lerma, similar, is not centre half. We have to also be realistic with our expectations and realize what Glasner is working with. That's how I see it. Anyway. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It kind of shows where we are with the squad.
That's a brilliant point.
Yeah.
Let's go on to that. That's a brilliant point. That's why my frustration came out yesterday during the post-match shows that people are just going off of purely results. We lost 1-0 to Bournemouth, but you have to take a look at a deep dive into, you just said it, one real central defender playing there, a ton of injuries. We lost only 1-0. We didn't get beat 5-0. That game wasn't great, but it was 10 times better than the game in December that you and I witnessed in person. So it's not like people have to look in perspective. And a guy's been here for 5 matches. I see improvement. If you don't see improvement, you don't. I can't argue that. I'm not going to say anything, but I see massive improvement. The guy's trying to implement a different system with a different set of players, and it's going to take time. So there's that.
We'll talk about Glasgow anyways. Mitchell 7. We both agree on a rating there. I thought he had a solid game. When you look at down his side, funny enough, that's how they did score technically because Ozo lost the ball, but it wasn't really Mitchell's fault. Well, he lost the duel, not the ball. Down that side for the majority of the game, I think it was Tavernier. He couldn't do nothing. I think Mitchell had it in his pocket. Yeah. So I thought Mitchell had a great game. In fact, I could have even gave him a higher rating than a 7.
I think you're right. Passing accuracy 84% is real good for Ty, and he had the most tackles in the game, 5. He was very solid yesterday. Couldn't get forward as much as he would have probably liked. He tried to link up a little bit with Eze, but honestly, again, the conditions, especially the first half, are very poor. And again, I thought he was very solid back there. So I had no issue with Ty yesterday. Good performance yesterday for Ty.
Yeah, let's move on to Wharton. Funny enough, we both agree there as well. By the way, we don't even have a conversation before. Patrick does his ratings, then I do my ratings, and then afterwards we combine it. But Patrick, it seemed like you know ball as well. That's good. That's good to know. So Wharton, 80% passing accuracy, 55 touches, 4 out of 8 ground was won. But overall, for me, it's not even the stats, it's the eye test. The way he controls the game, his IQ for the game. I've said it. I think I'm going to say it. I'm not saying he had a brilliant game against Bournemouth, but he know like the basics. He's got that spot on, and once again against Bournemouth, I don't think he done anything wrong in particular. I thought he had a great game.
No, he was solid. I mean, would like to see him link up a little bit more with Eze like he did in the previous match. But I think he played solid. And I have to give credit to him because he had a new partner in midfield, and I thought he and Hughes were very good as a duo.
Yeah, and let's talk about Hughes. 8 and 7.5, and this is the same Will Hughes that we were talking about a few days ago. Why is he coming on off the bench? But he started this game, Patrick, and I'll be honest, we'll talk about Glasner later on, but I was a bit upset when he got subbed off because I thought he was doing well in midfield.
Wow.
There was that chance in the first half where he could have maybe gave the ball to Ayew or Eze a bit earlier, but he's not a number 10. Overall, in midfield, in terms of the pressing, off the ball, when he had the ball, I thought he made majority of the times the right decision, and I thought he had a great. He's one of our best players.
100% was. Again, I've said it. I don't know why he subs off Wharton, and I actually do know why. He said it. It's because of Wharton's fitness levels. He said that in the Forest post match that he just doesn't think Wharton can go 90. We all think he can, and again, I'm not a massive Hughes fan, but credit to Hughes. Just say Hughes played really, really well. He had 15 passes into the final third, which is twice as many as Wharton had yesterday. Was very good in the press, kept the ball, kept it ticking over, was making tackles, making clearances, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 5 recoveries, dribble pass. He played really, really well. He was very solid in there. I mean, before the game, you told me he was going to start, I would have been like, you got to be joking. But after that game yesterday, you got to give the guy credit. Listen, if you want to come on and criticize the guy, which I've done in the past, you criticize it, but when a guy plays well, you give him credit. And yesterday, Hughes was very good yesterday.
Well, I guess we'll talk about it in the preview, but would you keep him in the side against City?
We have no choice. There is absolutely no choice. There's no choice. I mean, it's not like we have a bunch of options.
We do have a choice. Tompkins is there, but it's funny that choice is not even considered. It shows.
Let me tell you something, bro. If you put Tompkins against Haaland on Saturday, you want to get beat 6-0. Listen, Tompkins might have a blinder on Saturday, but come on, we can't do that.
Yeah, let's move on to Eze. This is an interesting player because there's a lot of people talking about him once again. 6 from you, 6.5 from me. You can see by our ratings, it's not convincing. He actually did score a goal. Mateta was fractionally offside. Then again, that's a goal that I expect anyone to really score, even Jordan Ayew or whoever in that position. Patrick, I think the problem with Eze, especially in this game, and let us know what you think about his performance, chat, is the amount of times he's lost the ball. That was their main talking point. He lost the ball 29 times. Now, there's 2 sides of it. When you're a crazy player, of course, you're going to take more risks. So you end up losing the ball a bit more than all the other players. Right. But there's also, you can question his decision-making at times in terms of making a pass or not making a pass or taking a shot, for example. Is that the reason why I lost the ball? For you, you gave him a 6, so you're not really that happy before he had an average performance. What was it that was missing in this game?
So you mentioned losing the ball. Correct, but I'm going to go to 2 other factors. One, he goes down too easily. He was the most fouled player, but the fouls he went down late on, he's got to stay on his feet more. We used to kill Wilford for it, and I've got to say something. Eze's got great balance, got great feet. Stay on your feet more because that's going to frustrate me. And shoot the ball more. Shoot, because he had a couple of chances where he could have shot the ball, and he chose not to. Having said that, it's fine margins, D. If Mateta's on another half a foot, it's a goal, and it's 1-0, and the game's different. The game's about moments. And again, if that is a goal, we're having a different conversation today. So I'm not going to kill Eze, but I'm going to say again, he needs someone in the side to take pressure off of him. And that player right now is Michael Olise. We all can see when Olise plays with Eze, he's a better player. Tenfold. Wilf didn't need that. Wilf had Balassi at some point. He had
does Olise need it as well? I don't know. I don't think Olise needs it.
Great question. That's a great question. I don't know because I can tell you right now, Olise didn't need him against Man City. I mean, he came on late, Eze, but the Man City game was changed by Olise helped change that game. He helped make the penalty. He scored it, and So I don't. That's a good question. They played 11 times together this season. The thing is, we're not going to see it next season. At least we're not going to see it. So we're going to find out whether they need each other. So I don't know what it is, but I like Eze a lot. But he has to. It's a lot of pressure. He's got to perform better against. I'm not asking to do it against the top side because it's difficult. But against, I just said it already, against Forest, against Luton, against Bournemouth, he's got to be performed. But again, he could have scored yesterday. I mean, it's not his fault. It was offside. He's finished the goal he had to finish. But there were a couple of times early on he could have had a shot. He just didn't choose to. Decision making sometimes is not great. But again, I don't know I don't know what it is. Again, I think he's a very good player. But with the game we have coming up, well, at least they hopefully coming back, he's gonna have to perform for the rest of the season, because if he wants to get that big move somewhere, and you hit it before that we did this show, Spurs, perfect place for him. Perfect. It's a top 6 side. They could use a player like him. They got Madison. They could use a player like him at the creative weight. He'll still be in London. That's the kind of place he can go to and probably thrive. Nowhere else. He can't go to City, can't go Chelsea, can't go Arsenal, can't go Man City. That's it. It's Tottenham or nowhere. So for me, I love Eze. I hope he stays. But right now, I can't see anybody coming in for him because he just doesn't have the ability to turn a game. And that's what those top sides need. But yesterday, again, fine margins, man. Just needs to be a little bit better, and he wasn't.
Yeah, we're over-relying on him as well. Like, I mean, he's the only creative player right now in that squad. Yeah. There is. But then again, I think what it is, we're comparing him to other players. For example, Wilf. We were over-relying on Wilf. I mean, Wilf single-handedly kept us up for a few seasons, and he managed to keep us up, for example. And we look at Elise, for example. This is hard to say because we haven't actually seen Elise really be in this position. Normally, when Elise is playing, Eze is playing. But Elise, more time, you'd suspect based on what he's done at Palace that he should be able to, carry us as well when needed. With Eze, I think there's that question mark whether he can do it by himself, and I think that's why a lot of people are getting onto him. But let us know what you think about Eze's performance anyway. So, do you think we're a bit too harsh, or was he actually, agreeing with us? Go on.
Let me add one more thing. We have a lot of injuries in other positions, and that puts more pressure on our best player. Because listen, I'm not going to downplay the fact we don't have our first choice goalkeeper. We don't have Gahey. We don't have Decore. We don't have Edouard. We don't have France. They come back, and now we've lost Richards. I mean, we've got a lot of injuries, so that just puts that much pressure on the other players that are still in the side. So Eze got to be better. Mateta's got to be better. Ayew's got to be better, and they can't always be better. See what I mean? So it's hard on Eze, but again, it is what it is right now. It's just tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, let's talk about Ayew, because there's a player that we speak about, but not as much. We just say he's not having a great performance. You said 5.5, which is quite low compared to other players. I've written the lowest that you gave so far, and I've given him a 6. Quiet, Patrick, just quiet. What is it? Is he not adapted to the Glasner system? Does the Glasner system not suit his style of play? I don't really understand it. He's just not involved as much.
Well, he had 89% pass accuracy, which is the most of any player that played at least a half of the game. So his passing was good. He did create a goal. Again, it was offside. He was the one that crossed the ball to Eze for the goal. So again, it's about moments, right? But I'm going to ask you, isn't Eze Muslim?
Not Eze. Ayew, you mean?
I'm sorry, Ayew. I mean, Ayew is, right?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is.
So my question is the fasting an issue? You got to think about he's played well before the last couple of matches. He was fine. He was fine early under Glasner, right? He was fine against Burnley, etc.
Yeah.
Remember, he scored the goal against Burnley. My point, I don't think it's a Glasner system. I don't think it's the system. I just think I think it's something else. I'm just throwing out. I don't know.
It could be a shout. Yesterday, he should have. Then again, he was very close to kickoff, but he would have broke his fast. Right before the game or right as the game kicked off. So I guess it depends. But yeah, I don't know. In the previous game he wasn't as to be fair, when you watch him play, like he's still running about. There isn't anything wrong with his game. I just think on the ball maybe he's not contributing as much, or is he not getting on the ball as much? It's just weird. It's not the same Jordan Ayew. We're talking like Jordan Ayew is like Messi or something, like he scores 5 or 10 goals. But then again, like you see what Jordan Ayew can sometimes do on the ball, and maybe we're just focusing too much on Eze that Ayew's not really getting that many opportunities because it seems like passable to Eze majority of the time. But then again, that's why we need plays back, because I'd rather have Ayew coming off the bench You know, if France is back, if Elise is back, that's better than Griffith Schlupp, which we'll talk about. But yeah, look, quiet game from him. He got subbed off. But let's talk about the striker, because I actually want to talk about Mateta. You gave him a 6. I gave him a 7.5. I'll be honest. You need to stop the Mateta slander. What's wrong with you? When are you going to get rid of your agendas about Mateta? It's about time you just dropped them. I thought he had a fantastic game, apart from, of course, he didn't score a goal. But his hold-up play, his strength, I thought it's brilliant. This is the best Mateta that we've seen ever since he joined Palace. And we're talking about Mateta that has been scoring goals in occasions, but his overall game, absolutely brilliant. And I think he's improving by the game on the Glasner.
Yeah, I hold my hand up to you. I think that is a very low rating I gave him. And again, another foot. He's onside and he's part of that goal that Eze scores, and it's 1-0.
There's no way you're blaming him for that. When I got into Andersen about, you gave him a low rating.
No, I'm not blaming. No, it's not a 4.5 compared to a 7. This is a
no. But still. I mean, if you give him a low rating because the foot was like barely offside.
It's not because of that. I just thought he was kind of quiet yesterday. His hold-up play was very good. He was very good defensively. He had 3 heady clearances on the corner. He was brilliant, but he only had 1 shot, and we didn't score a goal. So it's not like I don't think I can give him a 7 for that. But no, I don't think he played poorly. I just don't think he was involved as he could have been. That might have been because Ayew didn't play as well and Eze didn't play as well, because he can't create by himself, right? He needs players around him to create for him, and he didn't really create for him yesterday. Not like he had like the game before when he had that great goal set up by Eze and Wharton and Lerma, but it's like he wasn't involved because he wasn't set up. But no, I thought he played finely. I just said I probably made a mistake and probably give him a high rating. Unlike you, he still haven't apologized to Henderson for that 4.5. So there's that.
Hold up, I just gave Henderson a good rating. I have no agendas. I've told you this already. Why do I need the agenda? I don't need the agenda about
different game.
I don't have an agenda. If you look, opinions can change, and I think Mateta has definitely improved. But then again, for you,
I agree. I'm his biggest fan. So
for you, I guess he has to do a bit better, innit? Agendas still remain for certain for certain people, but for me, I don't have no agendas, innit? Let's move on to the bench. And let's quickly go through this. Schlupp, 5. Nothing to really talk about.
Touches, nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Ozo, there is something to talk about. You gave him a 5, I gave him a 4. He played out of position, and I think this is what I mean by it's still early days. You're saying that he has played there for the youth team. Cool, fair enough. But we know for Palace, he hasn't, for the first team, whenever he's come on, he hasn't played in defence. And even for the youth team, does he play in defence often? No, I think he's played there in the past, but he's a midfielder. And I think Glasner was trying to experiment. Maybe he's learning on the job. As I said, it's still early days, and this is the best way to learn. But yeah, look, for the goal, he could have done a bit better. I don't want to slate him. I think that would be incredibly harsh. I don't think Ozo is the reason why we lost the game. I think Glasner, which we'll get onto later, his decision making there was a bit confusing. Because as I said, Hughes was having a good game, so I don't even took him off. And if you're going to take him off, Lerma's having a good game in defense, so keep him there. I feel like those 3 combinations, Hughes coming off, Ozo going in defense, Lerma moving up, it kind of messed it up for us.
Okay, so I listened to Glasner's post-match. Glasner said he played in that position in the 2 games over the break. So against Bodo Glimt, and he did, second half, and against Millwall, which we didn't see, he played in the 3 because he had to, because we had players out, right? Richard would have been away on international duty for that Millwall game for sure, so he would have played in the 3, and Andersen would have been away. That's the first thing. But I do agree with you. It was a risk to play him there because Lerma was doing a good job. But again, it's not like he hadn't played there at all. So again, like I say, he played in the two friendlies during the break. The kid made a mistake, and this is why I listen. I'm the biggest component of playing the young players. This is why when they play and they make a mistake, deal with it. Don't slate them, but deal with it, because it's going to happen. Ahamada did it in a game before. Ozo did it. France has done it before. They're young players. They're going to make mistakes on the job. So should he put him on defense? Probably not, but he did it. It's done, and it is what it is. But like I said, we don't have any options. So unless you want to see Tompkins back there, then I don't know what else he could have done. Now, I will say this. So someone mentioned during the post-match yesterday, perhaps the one thing against Ozo on that play is he should have probably fouled Semenyo. He's out wide. He's not dangerous. Give him a free kick there. Just bring him down and then take a chance on a free kick. Now, some say we're not good on set plays. Well, we have been better on set plays under Glasner than we have under Hodgson. So I'll take a chance on a free kick from that position than a have him beat us and cross the ball. But again, that's experience, and he doesn't have that. So I'm not going to kill I'm not going to kill Ozo because again, out of position and he's young. So it is what it is.
Yeah, Edward, nothing to talk about here. 4 and 5.
But there is though. But there is. Okay.
What?
There's nothing to talk about in that game, and he just came back. But at some point, Edward has to come on as a sub and do something. We do this every time. And again, yesterday's not a good example because he just came back. But I'm just saying he comes on a lot, D, and does.
How long did he play for? He didn't even play for that long, did he?
I'm not saying yesterday. I said at some point, not today, we have to have a discussion about Edward as a sub. Because when he comes on as a sub, he is about as influential as me and you coming as a sub. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying yesterday was a game that, that we talked about.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Just in general. Of course, of course. Yeah. I get what you mean.
So.
Yeah. Glasner 7, 6 from me. As I said, it wasn't, in the second half, the performance wasn't that great. Actually, to be fair, the performance in the second half, even though we didn't have as many shots, seemed like it was better in terms of moving the ball around. But we just didn't create any chances. Then again, I think it's a sub for me. It was a bit confusing. It's still early days. I have faith in Glasner. I think it's going to take a while for everything to work because, as I've said, like the system, the problem hasn't just been Roy, even though he's a big problem. We've got so many problems. It started from the summer where we literally decided to go with the cheap option. And from there onwards, injuries, lack of fitness due to poor coaching. We have them injured right now, which Glasner only has one centre half playing in the back line because the other alternative for us being cheap is Tompkins, who wouldn't play for majority of the Premier League clubs, if any. So the problem has been bigger than Glasner. I'm not denying that. But yesterday, the subs, even though it's early days, I don't understand why he might have made it. It just didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so let's talk about the sub real quick before I talk about what my Glasner rating. What issue do you have the sub? Was it Ozo going the switch for Ozo?
I think it's the Hughes Ozo Lerma one. That ruined it for us more than anything.
Okay, so when's the last time Hughes played 90 minutes? Do you know?
No.
Sheffield United, January 30th. Before then, FA Cup, Everton. Before then,
I mean, he's played January 30th is not that long ago.
No, yeah. The point is he's not going to last 90 minutes. And we just played on Saturday. He's not going to play 90 minutes. So as I would have liked. Funny, isn't it funny now? We're talking about Hughes staying on when we didn't want him on the pitch in the first place 2 matches ago, but whatever. The issue I have obviously is switching Ozo and Lerma. I don't have a problem with Hughes coming off. I really don't. But if you're going to have him come off, just leave Lerma in the back and put Ozo in the middle. Now, Ozo could make the same mistake, by the way, midfield and cost us a goal, and people wouldn't have been killing us as much. But I agree, and I do agree. I didn't understand the Lerma thing. But as far as the lineup, I have no issue. I thought he did a great job putting Lerma back there, keeping us in that game at 0-0. We could have been up 1-0 at halftime, etc. He had to make subs. Schlupp coming on made sense. Ayew was ineffective. Edward coming on to make an impact didn't do it. But again, Lerma going to Ozo coming on kind of surprised me that it wasn't, let's say, Tompkins. But again, you put Tompkins on that pitch against those quick defenders against Bournemouth, you're asking for trouble. So I think 7 would have been fair. You gave him a 6, that's fine. But again, new system, new manager, 5 games. If we're kidding Glasner now, we're not up for this project in the first place. So it is what it is, right? So,
yeah. You have to. I mean, look at the Bournemouth manager, Ayew. He had the whole summer. He had a preseason, and literally, the first 7 games, you'd think they could have got relegated. Because of how bad the results were, and it weren't working out. And despite that, Bournemouth fans, if you ask them, yes, they're not 7th or 6th, but they're happy. They're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So De Zerbi, I mean,
one win in first 7 for Brighton.
Yeah, exactly, for Brighton. And look at De Zerbi now. I think we're Bayern Munich.
Exactly. It takes time.
From the sidelines talking, it's easy for us to make. Oh, we should be doing this and that, but it takes time. Like it's not gonna be that quick. By the way, we were trying to bring in Glasner in the summer, so he's joined earlier this was not this was not the plan. The plan changed because of as I say, the board's mistakes. I'm not letting them mistakes go by, and that's why
that's fair. Very fair.
Because of reappointing Roy and it not working out. But yeah, look, Glasner was not meant to be here. He's not meant to be here right now. The squad has injuries. We have to be realistic. Even with a fully fit squad, like, come on, he hasn't even had a preseason yet. He's been here for 5 games. And despite that, I've personally seen improvements. But look, we'll see where we're at. Next up, City. It's only going to get harder, so it's not going to be easy.
It's easier.
Exactly, exactly. But look, if you have enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. People to not miss out on future Palace content. Let us know your ratings, whether you agree or disagree with us in the comment section down below. That's it from me and Patrick. Until next time, up the Palace.